Hello, 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 everyone. It's your girl once and again, Shanidra with Let's Dig Deep. Yes, get into the root of things. Don't be a Grinch. Let's dig deep into it. So, first, we need to know what is a Grinch because we know that it's a character. But do we know the characteristics of this character? The characteristics of a Grinch is unpleasant, sour minded, which is bitter. He has depressed judgment. Um, he's bitter, angry. Um, you know what the Grinch is. You know he's bitter, jealous, angry, all of the above. So now that we know the main characteristics is that he is bitter, jealous, and angry. Those are the characteristics of a Grinch. So again, the topic is don't be a Grinch. So let's start with James, the third chapter, verse 14 through 16. We're going to dig deep because this is deeper than you think. So the third chapter, James, the third chapter, verse 14, starts as it says, but if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambitions in your heart, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Remember what I just said. It says, but if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambitions in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. If you bitter, shut up, hush, and do not deny the truth. 15, it says, such wisdom do not come down from heaven, but is earthly. That's not from God. Uh, unspiritual and demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder in every evil practice. Disorder in every evil practice, as we are seeing in today's world. But I'm going to stop right there because we got to dig deep. This is about to get deep. He said, if you are bitter and have envy and selfish ambitions in your heart, do not boast about it and do not deny the truth. Do not deny the truth. He said, for this wisdom does not come down from the heaven, but is earthly and unspiritual and demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder. So anytime you see disorder, like in our country right now, that's why, because there's too much bitterness, envy, jealousy, and selfish ambitions. That's number one, selfish ambition, just like the Grinch. So that was James. So let's go to Isaiah. So Isaiah, the fifth chapter, verses 18 through 21. So the fifth chapter, verse 18. He said, woe to those who draw sin along with cords of deceit, and wickedness as with court ropes. To those who say, let God hurry. So he's saying, woe to those who draw sin along with cords of deceit, who are deceitful, who deceive you and say, let God hurry. Oh, we about to get deep up into this. Let him hasten his work so we may see it. So let God hurry up so we can see it. The plan of the Holy One of Israel, let it approach. Let it come into view so we may know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight. God said, woe, mm-mm, unacceptable. You call evil good and good evil. Woe to you. Woe to you. Woe to those who are deceitful, who draw sin along with cords of deceit. Woe to y'all. You deceiving these children through the commercials. You deceiving them through all types of movies. As I told you, me and my children in my previous video watched the Santa Claus and how they try to deceive the children. The Santa Claus movie, I'm not going to say the name. Hopefully y'all will get the one that I'm talking about. But how they are deceiving the Santa Claus. Oh, and this hat is a Christmas hat. I've never heard of people calling this type of hat as a Santa Claus hat. That was my first time ever hearing that. But this is a Christmas hat to me. I don't do that Santa stuff. So anyways, back to the Santa Claus um deceitful movie. They are deceiving these children through this Christmas movie and acting as if Santa is God and that everything that Santa does, I mean, every characteristic that they're saying, he knows when you've been sleeping. He like he's up there in the clouds, like he's on holy ground. What did he say? He said, "This is hollow ground." That's why you feel different. I mean, just being so deceitful, going to the word, using the words of the Bible I mean, it's just so deceitful. So he said, "Woe to y'all who do these things, who call evil good and good evil." You say it's wrong for me to talk about God, and oh, you're not supposed to talk about God, and oh no, we're going to take that out of school, and with gay pride. Where in the word do it say that a man should be with a man and a woman should be with a woman? Where? Because one he said that was an abomination. Matter of fact, I know he said that's an abomination. So therefore, you're calling evil good and good evil. Oh no, we have to take out Christ in schools. That's offensive. But we need to celebrate the gay pride. He said, woe to y'all. But let me tell you why you should not be a Grinch, because we got to get deeper and deeper. I'm trying to get to all of it. So then we go to Exodus, which is right after Genesis. Exodus, the first chapter, in the 6th verse through the 14th. Oh my gosh. Y'all hear this. Now tell me if this is not in today's world. So let's go all the way up to the 6th verse. He said, now Joseph and all his brothers and all that generation died. So, Joseph, the one that was good, that, helped those when they were in the famine. For 7, I mean, he helped the land. He helped them prepare for it. He already knew about it. He helped them prepare, and he was great. But now he has died, and the generation before him has died. So now that they have died, it says, but the Israelites were exceedingly fruitful. So the Israelites have become fruitful. I mean, exceedingly. They multiplied greatly, increased in numbers, and became so numerous that the land was filled with them. They became numerous that the land was filled with them. And then a new king, a new president after Obama. Let's see how this playing out. After Obama, then a new president. So let's talk about the difference. Now, remember when we had Obama? It was totally different. He helped us out. He got us out of the recession, all of that. Now that the new president, now this one says the new king, but now that we have a new president to whom Joseph meant nothing, to whom Obama meant nothing to, um, came to power in Egypt. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. There's too many of them. Let's get rid of them. Uh, Come, we must deal shrewdly with them, or they will become even more numerous. And if war breaks out, will join our enemies. So he said that the Israelites were fruitful and multiplying, and he was like, this is too much because they're gonna end up joining with our enemies and fight against us and leave the country. Who do that sound like? Okay. 11. So they put slave masters, police, they put slave masters over them to oppress them with forced labor. So we are in a pandemic, right? Let's just finish reading. I got to read it. And they built Pithom and Ramses as store cities for Pharaoh. The okay, 12. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. So, okay, let me finish this. So the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites and worked them ruthlessly. Okay, so we're going to read to 14. And worked them ruthlessly. They made their lives bitter in harsh labor in brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields, and all their harsh labor, and Egyptians worked them ruthlessly. So now, as we see this played out, um, Joseph and all of the generation, all his brothers and all that generation died. They died. So Obama didn't die, but he's out of the presidency. Now, you know, here's a new king that, you know, uh, it says Joseph meant nothing, whom Obama meant nothing to, uh, came to came to power, came to presidency, basically. I'm trying to relate this since people be telling me, oh, what do they have to do with today? We living in today. That's old. And how you, okay, I'm relating it back and forth so you can see how this is playing out today, right now. So now the new king, now the new president to whom Joseph Obama meant nothing, came into power to Egypt. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. He didn't want none of us here, in all honesty. So everything that basically Joseph had put into place, he, made it his plan to do the opposite. And does that not sound like our current president? Let's get deep into it. Instead of our current president at the moment, at this very second, because he ain't got to be in a minute. Instead of the current president allowing you to stay home until we can get out of this pandemic, get over this COVID, instead of him paying and allowing you to, we could have been over this pandemic had we just took the proper procedures. But with his selfish ambitions, as it said, remember these are characteristics of a Grinch. With his selfish ambition and his bitterness in his heart and his hate towards certain people, types of people, he's the one that told he's added extra work on us. He's putting um you in tough situations. He is. I mean, I'm hearing so many parents like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I gotta work. I gotta pay these bills." That shouldn't be on you. But you have that relationship with God, and you know God, and you trust God with all thine hearts, and allow Him to direct your path. You don't have to worry about nothing. He said, "Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it." But back to the story. This is how it relates to now, because I mean, this is exactly what's playing out. If you cannot see, I try to show you as I read it so people can see. Look, this is what's happening now. Being a Grinch or being bitter and have selfish ambition, you will have poor judgment, disorder. It said disorder. We read this. There will be no order. This country is so disorderly right now. I don't know what else to think. It's being COVID been rising, but you had kids in school this whole time. And I'm not saying this to the parents because I know that the parents have been put in tough situations. I'm a parent. I have two kids that they're virtual. But my trust is in the Lord. It's not in the government. That's why I'm trying to help others get this relationship with God because you ain't got to worry about nothing. Nothing that's going on in the world because it ain't new under the sun. That's why people try to tell me, oh, that's old, and they don't realize what we have to go through. This is the same stuff that's going on it's been went on. This has been went on. So this is nothing new. All I'm trying to tell you is don't be a Grinch. Don't be bitter. Don't be hateful. Don't have selfish ambitions. Don't make it harder on your brother or your sister. As I told you in my last video, if you see someone is in need, help them. Don't talk about them with your unwholesome talk. Help them. That's what he said. We just read this in our last video. And all I'm saying is don't be a Grinch. Don't be bitter. Don't be angry. Don't let the sun fall down while you're angry. He said you could be angry, but sin not. And all I'm trying to say is if you trust in God with all thine heart and let him direct your path, you straight. You do not have to worry. He will supply all your needs. He has not been one to lie. And whom y'all been following and listening to have been deceiving y'all, lying to y'all this whole time. But you still follow him, but you can't follow someone who has never lied to you, who has never left you nor forsake you. He's been there when ain't nobody else been there. I just want you to see how wonderful he has been to you. Not just to me, because he's been awesome. I can go for days, weeks, months, a whole year talking about how awesome. There's not enough time for me to talk about how awesome he is. But he is awesome, and he loves you. And I'm trying to get everyone to focus more on him during this time than someone who has all these Grinch characteristics, this bitterness in his heart, this self ambition. I mean, get that. Don't follow that. Don't follow that. Follow God. Let him direct your path and lead you in the way that you should go. Trust me. If you take this time, because there's no escaping. Jonah couldn't escape. He tried to go the opposite way. He could not escape what God what he told him to do. So there's no escaping. He put you on this earth for a purpose. Nobody else created you but him. So why not listen to the one whom created you? Why not see what he has to say about you. He has, as I told y'all in my last video, what he said about you. That's who you need to listen to. He loves you. He disciplines those whom he loves, just like us. We are not going to discipline our children if we didn't love them. We wouldn't worry about where they went if we didn't care. Obviously, we care because we caring about where they at or what they're doing. We care enough to discipline them so they won't continue and lead them in a total wrong direction where they definitely don't need to go. And that's all God is doing. When he disciplines us, he's leading. He knows where if we continue in that mindset, that's why he said, do not be angry. Don't let it dwell. Don't let the sun go down while you're angry, basically. Because he knows if you continue to let anger build up and you dwell on that, it is going to cause bitterness. It's going to cause you to continuously be angry, and to have self-ambition, because then you're just going to be selfish. You're going to start thinking everybody's against you, so it's going to be about self, because you can't trust nobody. And he don't want that for you. So trust him and trust me. See, I can bank on God. We can't bank on our current president, but I can bank on God. I know God got my back. He's always had my back. It may not look good to everybody else, or it may not look like I'm winning, but it didn't look like Joseph was winning. But as we just seen, Joseph was everything had to go through Joseph, but Joseph went to jail. Joseph got traded in by his jealous, bitter brothers. All of that. But then he already told them it didn't stop what God told him to do or where he was going to be, his purpose. So they still had to bow down to him. Everything still played out. It looked like Joseph was losing, but he wasn't. God was just preparing him so that he could build him up so that he could become ruler over all. He had to go through some stuff so he could know how to help others. So don't look at it in a negative Grinch um, way of, oh, everything always happening to me. Oh, look at it as, dang, I must have a huge purpose for everything to be happening to me. God must want me to, think of it in a positive way. Get out of it thinking. But that's all I had to say. I don't want to keep you long. I love you and God loves you. And just don't be a Grinch. Don't be a Grinch. Love your neighbor. Be truthful. Don't deceive anybody. And don't be deceived. See what's happening. Thanks again, guys.